Are you standing at the crossroads of your tech career? Maybe wondering which path you should take. Or perhaps you're already on the road, but you're looking for the fastest route to real job satisfaction and growth. Well, you've definitely landed in the right place. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Here, we try to cut through the noise and get straight to the insights that, really matter. Today, our mission is all about helping you know yourself before you market yourself. It's crucial in this incredibly dynamic MIS, CIS, and IT job market. We're diving deep into Chapter 7 of Dr. Joseph H.Schuessler's fantastic guide, Launching Your Tech Career. It's specifically written for MIS, CIS, and IT graduates. This chapter, honestly, it's a treasure trove, especially if you're in a course like BCIS 4385 or really for anyone launching their tech career. Our goal? Simple, to pull out the most practical, actionable insights on self-assessment for career success. We're talking personal branding, job search strategies, and continuous professional growth. Okay, so before we jump in, just take a quick second to think. What aspects of preparing for your career resonate most with you right now?
And hey, if you find value in this deep dive, please follow us and maybe share this with friends or classmates who could use it. Let's make sure everyone has the tools they need to succeed.
That's a fantastic setup. It's so true. In a field like tech that moves just incredibly fast, it is really tempting to just chase, the hottest job title or maybe the biggest starting salary. But real sustainable success, and maybe even more importantly, genuine satisfaction, that comes from deep alignment. It's really about finding that sweet spot where your unique qualities perfectly intersect with what the market needs.
Yeah, I can absolutely see how that brings a lot of clarity. It avoids just chasing trends. So let's unpack this right from the beginning. What exactly is this self-assessment we're talking about, and why is it like the essential first step?
Okay, so at its core, a self-assessment, sometimes people call it a self-inventory. It's a formal but really honest evaluation. You're looking at your values, your personality, your skills, and your long-term career goals. Think of it like taking a strategic look in the mirror. You're really examining what you're genuinely good at, what truly excites you, and what you ultimately want from your professional life. This understanding. It then guides your decisions rather than you just, blindly applying to every job posting that pops up online. It's the critical first step in any career planning. You truly have to understand you before you can effectively market you to anybody else.
Got it. So it's more than just like thinking about yourself. It's turning that self-knowledge into actual tangible action.
Yeah.
What would you say is the absolute biggest payoff our listeners are going to see from putting in this effort?
Oh, the benefits are really significant, and they definitely compound over time. First off, you get much clearer career direction. By really nailing down your top values and interests, you can pinpoint career paths that will actually feel fulfilling. You get to sidestep that really frustrating trial and error approach so many people fall into. For example, think about Alex, a senior student, felt drawn to problem-solving leadership too, but wasn't quite sure how that fit into tech beyond just pure coding. Through self-assessment, Alex realized IT project management perfectly leveraged those strengths. That led to going after a PMP, that's Project Management Professional Certification, and finding a role that perfectly balanced the tech side and the leadership duties. It really shaped a targeted, satisfying career plan. Second big benefit. It dramatically enhances your self-awareness. You'll recognize your unique strengths, which become fantastic selling points, right? And also your weaknesses, which now become clear areas for targeted improvement. This honest appraisal, it significantly boosts your confidence, especially when employers inevitably ask those questions about your strengths and weaknesses in interviews. You'll actually have insightful, well-thought-out answers, not just some canned response you read somewhere.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So this isn't just about feeling good about yourself. It directly impacts your job search and, your whole long-term career path.
Absolutely. The third benefit is a much more strategic job search and development plan. Knowing your current skills and identifying those you still need helps you focus your job search. You can tailor your resume, your LinkedIn profile, even your elevator pitch to align perfectly with your true strengths and goals. It also highlights skill gaps, guiding you towards specific training or certifications you might need. And thinking long-term, for satisfaction and growth, aligning your career choices with your authentic self, it just leads to higher job satisfaction and ultimately more success. There's actually compelling research showing that individuals who use their strengths every single day are 6 times more likely to be engaged at work. That translates directly into better performance and, profound career growth. So as you're listening right now, I'd encourage you, think about a time you felt completely in the zone. What were you doing? And what personal strengths were you really leaning into? How might that feeling, that activity, translate into a career role that feels less like work and maybe more like play.
That's a great little thought experiment. Okay, so if that's why this self-assessment is so essential, let's now kind of peel back the layers a bit. Let's understand what exactly we're assessing here. What are the core components that make up our professional compass, as you called it?
They absolutely are your compass, guiding your career decisions toward fulfillment, values, interests, and skills. Let's start with values. These are your core principles, things like creativity, maybe helping others, work-life balance is a big one, financial security, prestige, or teamwork. They really define your ideal work environment and what you absolutely need from a career to feel truly satisfied. There was a Glassdoor survey, actually, that highlighted this. It found 77% of adults consider a company's culture and values before they even apply for a job. And get this, over half prioritize that culture over salary for job satisfaction. So if you deeply value innovation, you'll naturally thrive at a tech company pushing the boundaries, right? If community impact is really key for you, maybe you'd seek an IT role in healthcare or education.
So values are kind of like the operating system for your career then. Everything else sort of runs on top of it. It dictates the kind of environment where you'd be most productive and, frankly, happiest. That really puts company culture into perspective, doesn't it?
Exactly. And for you, listening, take just a moment. What workplace values, maybe integrity, diversity, innovation, stability, what do you care about most? Are there specific industries or even companies out there that clearly reflect those values you hold? Okay, next up we have interests. These are the topics and activities that just naturally excite you. Could be cybersecurity, finance, maybe gaming, data analysis, or UI/UX design. When your work aligns with these natural interests, your job satisfaction and productivity, well, they naturally improve. There are tools out there, like the Holland Code, you might have heard of it as RESS. It's designed to help map your interests to compatible career areas. It does this by identifying your preferences for realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, or conventional work environments. Helps narrow things down.
Well, that really brings it to light. So for our listeners who might be losing themselves in, say, gaming forums or some specific tech blog, this is basically saying, hey, pay attention to that energy. That could be your career compass pointing the way.
Right. So maybe make a quick mental list right now. What subjects or tech topics can you easily just lose track of time reading about or learning about? How might those fit into an actual career? And finally, the third piece, skills. This covers both your technical or hard skills and your soft or transferable skills. Both are critical. They define what roles you're actually qualified for and, frankly, where you're likely to excel. For technical skills, we're talking programming languages, database management like SQL, networking, cybersecurity, cloud computing, data analysis, UX/UI design. The list goes on. Indeed.com points to coding, network setup, hardware knowledge, and technical writing as pretty fundamental for IT pros. And the market trends. They're crystal clear. Cloud computing and data analytics roles. They're growing something like 3 times faster than non-digital roles. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics projects over 350,000 IT job openings each year. Huge demand.
Wow. And it's definitely not just about the technical mastery, is it? We hear so much about the importance of soft skills these days.
Not at all. Soft skills are equally crucial, maybe even more so sometimes, in today's collaborative tech world. We're talking about communication, teamwork, problem solving, adaptability, leadership, time management, all those things. Employers desperately need professionals who can, translate complex technical stuff to non-technical people, collaborate effectively on diverse teams, and critically solve business problems. Indeed notes their equal importance to technical skills. And LinkedIn's 2023 analysis. It found management, communication, and problem solving were among the most in-demand skills across all industries. So, the real magic, the real power, comes from the alignment of all three. Your values, your interests, and your skills. When these converge in your career choice, you experience much greater enjoyment and you just perform better. Imagine, say, a cybersecurity consultant who works specifically for nonprofit organizations that role perfectly aligns a value for helping others, an interest in cybersecurity, and obviously strong problem-solving skills. Misalignment, on the other hand, that's a clear signal that maybe something needs to change. It could be the industry, the role, maybe even just the company culture you're in. So, as you think about this, try to identify one personal value, one interest, and one skill that you feel are most defining for you right now. How do you envision a career that truly honors all three of those things?
That's a fantastic exercise. Really gives us a clearer target to aim for. Okay, now that we understand what we should be looking for, let's talk about how to actually look. What tools can we use on this journey of self-discovery? Are there specific assessments or frameworks?
Yeah, there are many excellent tools out there, and Honestly, using a combination of them usually gives you the most well-rounded picture. It's not about just one answer. First, there's something called the flower exercise. It comes from Richard Bolus, the "What color is your parachute" guy. This gives you a really holistic view of your ideal career across 7 different dimensions, or petals, as he calls them. Things like the kinds of people you like working with, your ideal workplace conditions, your favorite skills, your purpose and values, the knowledge areas you enjoy, your compensation needs, and even your preferred geography. The outcome is this one-page flower diagram that helps you visualize all your ideal job criteria in one place. For instance, your flower might show you want to use analytical skills, maybe in finance with collaborative people earning around 80Ks, and specifically in Texas, well, that strongly points towards something like a business analyst role. Then there's the personal SWOT analysis. This is adapted from business strategic planning. SWOT, it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Your strengths and weaknesses are internal factors, things like your unique traits, skills, experiences you already have. Opportunities and threats, those are external things like emerging industry trends, market demand for certain skills, or even competitive pressures in the job market. This gives you a really structured list, maybe a grid, that helps you develop a clear strategy. How can you capitalize on your strengths and opportunities? And just as importantly, how can you proactively improve on weaknesses and mitigate potential threats? It's incredibly practical for strategic career planning.
Right, I've heard of SWOT. And I've also heard a lot about personality assessments, things like Myers-Briggs. How do those fit into this toolkit? Are they useful?
Yeah, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or MBTI, it's definitely popular. It looks at your preferences across 4 different scales, like how you gain energy, extroversion or introversion, or how you prefer to make decisions, thinking or feeling. This leads to one of 16 personality types. Now, it can suggest suitable work environments. For example, an INTJ type, sometimes called the architect, tends to be very strategic, analytical, often drawn to roles like systems analyst. Or maybe someone who scores high on introversion might prefer quieter, more focused work settings. But it's really important to add a caution here. While popular, it shouldn't limit your choices. Think of it more as providing a helpful vocabulary for understanding your preferences. It helps you articulate how you operate best. And finally, another really powerful one is Clifton Strengths, which used to be called StrengthsFinder. This tool identifies your top natural strengths or talents out of 34 possible themes, things like analytical, communication, learner, achiever, etc. The whole philosophy behind it is that focusing on and leveraging your innate strengths leads to significantly greater success and engagement, rather than constantly trying to fix your weaknesses. And Gallup's research backs this up, showing people who use their strengths every day are far more engaged. So identifying these top strengths can really guide you toward roles where you can genuinely do what you do best.
That's a great practical tip then. These tools are really just pieces of a bigger puzzle. Don't let any single one define you, right? Instead, look at the common themes that emerge across different assessments. If multiple tools keep highlighting, say, your creativity, your people orientation, and maybe a love for continuous learning, well, that's a really strong signal for the kind of role or environment that's likely to bring you satisfaction. It's about building that holistic picture.
Exactly right. So, as you think about these different tools, which one do you think might offer you the most new insight about yourself right now, and why? Or, if you've taken one of these before, what was the biggest thing you learned from it? How did it help?
Okay, this is great. So once we have all this fantastic self-knowledge, how do we actually connect it to the real world, to the actual job market? I mean, it's one thing to know yourself, but it's another to align that with what employers are actively looking for. What's that next crucial step?
Yes, that's the bridge, bridging the gap. You've assessed yourself. Now you need to evaluate how your skills stack up against the demands of the tech job market. We can call this the skill alignment exercise. It can be as simple as creating a 2-column list. On one side, skills I have, and on the other, skills target jobs require. Ah, Celebrate the matches. Those are your key selling points. And then very clearly identify the mismatches. These aren't failures. They're your crucial areas for improvement. For instance, if you're aiming for a data engineer role that keeps listing Python and, say, AWS cloud skills, but your strength is currently in Java and maybe SQL, then Python and cloud skills become your clear development targets, your gaps to fill. So once you know your gaps, what's the plan of attack? There are several really effective strategies for both skill improvement and showcasing those skills. First, Pretty obviously, coursework and certifications. Consider taking relevant electives in your program or pursuing online certifications. For example, becoming a certified Scrum Master, CSM, or getting a TAPM certified associate in project management be incredibly valuable, especially for certain roles. Cloud skills, as we mentioned, are hugely sought after. So getting certified in AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, even at a foundational level, is an excellent investment. Industry surveys show something like 98% of organizations value upskilling, and 90% rely on it to meet their tech skill needs. Don't underestimate this. Resources like LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, Udemy, they're perfect for targeted learning. Second strategy, hands-on projects. Nothing proves a skill quite like actually applying it, right? Academic projects count, but so do personal passion projects or even volunteer work where you use tech skills. Building a functional website, developing a small mobile app, contributing code to an open source project, these demonstrate practical ability and can definitely help make up for a lack of formal work experience on your resume. Third, internships or part-time work offer invaluable practical industry experience. You pick up not just technical skills, but also those crucial soft skills, client interaction, time management, using professional tools like Agile or specific industry software. Even a relatively short internship can expose you to real-world workflows and expectations in a way classes sometimes can't.
Yeah, that real-world piece is huge. And beyond the direct skills, what about connecting with people already in the field? I keep hearing about networking.
Absolutely crucial. That's where mentorship and networking come in. Connecting with professionals, maybe through LinkedIn or university events who are in roles you aspire to. Conducting informational interviews with them can reveal what skills truly matter in practice day to day and maybe the best ways to acquire them. A good mentor, for instance, can look at your self-inventory, look at your skill alignment exercise, and suggest really tailored improvement areas. They've been there. And finally, maybe the most important habit, reflecting and iterating. The tech industry evolves at lightning speed. You absolutely must commit to continuous learning. There was a Talent LMS study that found 71% of employees actually want to update their skills more often. So embracing lifelong learning isn't just nice to have, it's a critical survival skill in tech. And just to ground this in reality, when we look at real-world data, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reports a median annual IT wage around $104,000. That's double the national average. It signals a robust market, yes, but also high expectations for skills. In 2023, 3 of the top 5 best jobs in the U.S. were tech roles: full stack developer, data engineer, cloud engineer. Average salaries were around $130,000 with really rapid growth. These roles almost always require cross-functional skills, not just deep expertise in one narrow area. LinkedIn data also shows a huge surge in demand for analytical skills. Something like 72% of companies expect analytical thinking skills to become even more important by 2027.
And those soft skills you mentioned earlier, communication, leadership, they're still critically important in that mix, right? It's not just the tech.
Absolutely. LinkedIn also found that a staggering 75% of employers report a significant skills gap, specifically in communication and leadership. They can't find enough people with those skills. So don't neglect showcasing your teamwork projects on your resume, highlight communication-intensive assignments, or any leadership roles you've taken, whether they were formal or informal. If, say, public speaking is a weakness you identified, maybe join a group like Toastmasters or volunteer to present more often in class. Push yourself. These are real-world needs employers are actively trying to fill.
Yeah.
So here's a concrete action prompt. Look at a description for your dream job or something close to it. What's one key skill listed there that you don't yet have or aren't confident in? And more importantly, what's one specific concrete step you will take in the next, say, 3 months to begin developing that skill? Write it down.
This has been incredibly insightful, really practical stuff. So after all this, deep self-assessment, this skill alignment exercise, what's the grand finale? How do we pull all these powerful insights together into something tangible, something actionable that we can actually use?
Right. This is where you consolidate everything. You create your personalized self-inventory report. Now, don't just think of this as just another document to write. Think of it as your personal career roadmap, maybe even your strategic pitch deck rolled into one. It's a structured way to pull together everything you've learned about yourself, your values, interests, personality, skills, both strengths and weaknesses, and clearly outline how all of that connects to your job search and your plans for professional growth. And crucially, it's a living document. You'll update it as you gain new experiences, new skills, new insights. Its core purpose is really to make all those insights concrete. It empowers you to clearly articulate your unique value proposition to others, employers, mentors, network contacts. And maybe just as importantly, it helps you identify any potential misalignments on paper before you even start applying for jobs, saving you time and frustration. Now, while you can definitely tailor the format to what works for you, we generally recommend organizing it into maybe 3 key sections. First, your core identity. This is where you capture your essence. Things like a brief professional profile summary. Who are you professionally? Your top 3 to 5 career values and the kind of company culture that really inspires you. Your key interests and passion areas, the subjects, industries, technologies that genuinely light you up. Insights from any personality assessments you took, like MBTI, detailing your preferred work style and natural strengths. This whole section is really about understanding who you are at your professional best. What makes you tick? Okay, second section, your capabilities and growth areas. This is where you do that detailed skills assessment we talked about. List your key technical skills, maybe note your proficiency level, beginner, intermediate, advanced, more advanced or below. Mention relevant certifications or key projects where you use that skill. Alongside that, list your transferable or soft skills, but provide concrete examples. Don't just say good communicator, say how. And crucially, this is where your personal SWOT analysis lives. Clearly articulate your internal strengths, the things you'll market, and then take that honest, constructive look at your weaknesses or skill gaps. But here's the key. For each identified gap, outline a concrete plan to address it. Turn that potential liability into an actual development goal. For example, need more experience with cloud platforms, enrolled in AWS Foundations course starting next month. See, actionable. And finally, the third section is your career trajectory and action plan. This is where you define your goals. What's your short-term goal? Say for the first 1-2 years after graduation. And importantly, explain why that specific role or type of role fits your self-inventory. Connect the dots. Then, what's your longer-term goal? Maybe 5+ years out. How does that aspiration connect to your broader values and strengths? Paint the picture. It's your personal career blueprint, and perhaps most importantly, your immediate action plan. What are 2 or 3 concrete job search steps, skill development activities, or networking actions you will take right now or in the very near future? This section ensures all that valuable self-discovery actually translates into measurable forward progress. It keeps you accountable.
Wow. So this report really isn't just some static document you file away then. It's a dynamic, living blueprint for your entire career, continually evolving as you learn and grow.
Precisely, that's the idea. And once you have it, even in draft form, you leverage it constantly. Use it to effectively update your resume. You can pull specific language directly from your values statement or your skills list. Use it to craft really tailored cover letters that speak directly to a company's mission or culture, showing you've done your homework and you're a good fit. Use it to prepare for those common, sometimes tricky interview questions like, tell me about yourself, or what are your greatest strengths and weaknesses? You'll have articulate, authentic, well-thought-out responses ready because you've actually done the deep thinking. And finally, it will absolutely guide your job search decisions, becomes your filter, helping you evaluate job offers against what you've clearly outlined as your ideal fit. It helps ensure you choose the right opportunity for you, not just any opportunity that comes along. So maybe one last reflection prompt for everyone listening. As you think back on everything we've discussed from this chapter, what was the most surprising or maybe the most enlightening thing you discovered or rediscovered about yourself? And how will that new insight change the way you approach your career planning and job search moving forward?
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into self-assessment and career alignment. We really hope these insights, drawn from Dr. Joseph H.Schuessler's guide, have given you a powerful new perspective as you launch your tech career. And hey, if you found this deep dive valuable, please remember to follow our deep dive and maybe share it with friends, classmates, anyone you know who's preparing for their tech career journey. It makes a huge difference in helping us reach more aspiring professionals like you. Remember, your career is a journey, and every single step you take today builds the future you imagine. Keep learning, keep growing, and go make it happen.